Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel, Anna Bella, and today I am going to be doing a film review of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It's an hour and 50 minutes long and it's rated 18 for obvious reasons, but it's not actually as violent or as scary as you'd think that it is, oddly enough. It's actually a really slow-paced film. Don't let that put you off. It works to perfection. You have what I call really violent episode, or an episode of charity, to use Sir Crystal's term for it. And then you'd get quite long sections of nature or slow pacing. There's real depth to this movie. It is very, very rich in the character development. Every single character grows and changes throughout this movie. The fact that there's a lot of sitting down and talking and you've only got 2 or 3 characters on the screen at a time. It's slow paced, it's deliberate, it's beautiful. I'm loving that we get the lovely swaying of the grass and the meadow becomes a character itself. In the book, The Lord of the Flies, the island is described as a character. In 28 Years, the previous film, in 28 Years Later, nature came back and we saw the deer, and in this film that motif continues. Nature is still there as like an overall character for this film. I really like that. Yes, we're going to get to Ralph Fiennes. We're going to do him now, actually. Basically what they did is they gave Ralph Fiennes some blank paper and some Crayola crayons and let him do whatever with a brief sort of bullet point outline of who his good doctor is, and they just let him get on with it. Basically, in short, they said, you know how you really enjoy playing Lord Voldemort in Harry Potter? We're going to let you do the same thing again, but with this character. And Ralph went, oh, good-o! And that's pretty much it. Yeah, top performance. That doesn't need saying. Right, now that we've dealt with Ralph Fiennes and his Crayola colouring crayons and rock music, we can move on. I'm not going to spoil it for you. You have to be there. It's a brilliant moment. And in fact, it comes across as if he's putting on a rock concert for the young people. But moving swiftly on from that wonderful event, thank you, Iron Maiden, for supplying the music. And yeah, I'm going to leave that there. There's so much stuff. I really liked Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal. I thought his character development was brilliant because the fear of him was so much in the last one. There was so much fear. And in this one, that all got deconstructed because he was basically a frightened little boy that had turned cruel in a way of processing. I love the scene between him and the doctor where the doctor explained actually it wasn't the telephones or the computers or this, it was the fact that daily life had a certainty and had a pattern and just rolled, and you really got that understanding. I love that. And then obviously you've got Kai Lewis Perry, there we go, we've remembered his name, playing Samson. Samson is the god king of this movie, 100% down. His journey has been phenomenal. Because remember, in the previous movie, 28 Years Later, yes, he's an alpha, he's infected. He got a fellow woman who was infected pregnant. They had a kid, he lost the kid, he went crazy, couldn't find them, was looking for them. That's why he kept going back there, because he knew he'd lost something. I'm not going to say any more about how he develops or my theories on that, because I think he's going to be the key of getting us out of this infection. Thank you, the good doctor. Thank you, Samson. You had almost 2 parallel things going on. You've got Samson, then you've got Sir Jimmy Crystal. Sir Jimmy Crystal is like the virus that's infected humanity outside of the zombies. And I'm loving his fate being upside down. I love that, on top of those bones, because those bones both are a monument to all of the dead, Memento Mori and all of that, but they're also a reflection of the cruelty and the savage evilness of what humanity has inflicted upon each other and the isolation that humanity has experienced because of this zombie evilness. And then you've got Samson, who represents God and Christ, and the deer are really important because they're a Christ motif. There's a lot of Satanism, yeah, it happens. And atheism. So you've got atheism, Satanism, but you've also got a lot of hidden Christ motifs. The deer head that Samson brings that ends up on top of the bone monument is really important because it's recognising that nature itself has sacrificed things and lost people because of what's going on. The fact that Samson has got the notion to bring that and put it on top of the bone temple is phenomenal. People might think, well, how is that relevant? That's really important. Samson in the Bible is a Nazarite. Nazarites are very much like John the Baptist. John the Baptist was a Nazarite. Samson was a Nazarite. They don't, they grow their hair really long. They're wild men. They live in the desert and they live off the land, and they wear like, you know, camel fur or whatever. Well, in Samson's case, absolutely nothing. Yes, there is nudity, but we knew that from the previous one, and actually it has a place in this film. It's not there to do anything. It's just like, you know, I'm hot, I'm going to take off some clothes, and then I'm going to sit down on a bed. That's basically it. Whew. Moving swiftly on. It's not what you think this movie is. It's absolutely fascinating. You've got twin lines. If you know the religious coding, you can read it that way. You can read it any way, which way you want. You can even read it an atheist way, but actually there are some Judeo-Christian links going on. Yes, you have got the whole Satanism thing with Sir Jimmy Crystal, who actually isn't as shocking when you get to know him. As soon as he starts like revealing the fact, oh, he likes to watch people fight to the death, and then that finger, the dead finger, gets replaced by the new one, you just see that he's a child in his mind trying to make peace, trying to put together the pieces of what happened. I love the scene when they sit down with the good doctor and they talk it through. And then they both realise that they're both in a bit of a bind and how on earth they're going to get out of it. I love the fact that good old St. Nicholas flips it. But then again, that's what you'd expect. Voldemort would do it. 100%. Love it. Spike's character is really interesting because he actually doesn't have a lot of growth, because he stays this frightened child all the way through. And I love that because that's where we left him. I loved Kay. I thought her character was really well developed and wonderful. And that family that they invade, that the Fingers and Sir Jimmy Crystal invade, there are some really great set pieces. You've just got to slow down, watch it, take it all in. I love that we saw Cillian Murphy's character at the end of the film. That is not a spoiler. Sorry, it's not. I love that. And then you aren't going to get those big zombie set pieces. There's only so far you can go with that. This movie, what it attempts to do is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And we're pretty young in 2026 regarding films. This and Hamnet and their use of nature motifs. Yes, I am going to be reviewing Hamnet or Hamlet, however you wish to pronounce it. I will be reviewing that one after I've done the Bone Temple. The Bone Temple was brilliant, wonderful, really good music, really good visuals, really useful use of nature. I loved the meadow, the swaying of the grass, and then the meadow that had the poppies in as a reminder. Absolutely phenomenal. It was almost like you were following the good doctor and like, what is the meadow going to say today? And you have to be able to read flowers to be able to understand what is going on. They brought back Victorian flower language and grasses. If you read Watership Down, which is a great book, it's got over 70 uses of basically wildflowers and grasses to name things, and they all have a meaning and motif. And basically the meaning of Watership Down isn't sadness, it's actually that hope endures, that humanity will survive this, or in Watership Down case, rabbits will continue living based on, you know, hope is possible. It's always a new hope. And we're back to Star Wars again, wonderful. But the Bone Temple, absolutely brilliant movie. It being an 18 didn't have any meaning, or it wasn't gratuitous, it wasn't unnecessary. There was no unnecessary violence in this movie. In fact, the violence, when it did happen, actually made the plot go further. It was a plot point. It was like, yes, so-and-so has been stabbed. That means that this is going to happen. And the story moves forward, which was really good, because I hate it when it's just random violence for no apparent reason. And you're like, what is this telling me? How is this affecting the characters? How is this moving the story on? Brilliant. Absolutely great. And yes, I probably will go and see this again in the cinema, because I probably missed something. There are so many Easter eggs. It's brilliant. I don't want to spoil it for quite a lot of people. 5 out of 5 for me. Yeah, everybody should just leave Ralph Fiennes alone and give him a bare bones outline of whatever a character is. Give him some Crayola cones and a bit of paper and see what he comes up with, because, yeah, that's basically it. But the two actors that supported him are Sir Jimmy Crystal. I thought that was really good portrayal, because you think you're meeting a sadist and then it changes, and then it's what, and then with the whole Jimmy Savile link as well, and Jimmy Savile being a Catholic, it was just, oh, it was a whole gold mine of stuff. I'm loving the Teletubbies mentions with the Teletubbies TVs, watching TV on people's stomachs, and it felt like when you were watching the Bone Temple, you were also one of those people that was watching a TV through a TV through a TV. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. 5 out of 5. And that's basically it. So like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you very soon with my Hamnet film review. Bye bye. Don't forget to click the notification bell for my next one.